I think we're live now. Are we? We should be. I think this is also the first time we're live streaming after monetization has been enabled. Or did we already have that enabled last week? I honestly don't remember. We got the bike last time, didn't we? I think we did. Let me check. We probably just didn't register it to the... Is it the white button in this game? It is. Let's check the team real quickly before we dive into anything else. We've got Orfru, Eldu, Chester, Aroma, Yagdik, and Alines. Next up is the fighting gym, meaning that who are we going to give priority to in the fighting gym? I mean, Yagdik isn't going to be too useful. I guess Alines kinda makes sense because the dark typing. Isn't Chester also a dark type? I always forget. I don't think so. No, just grass. Does it evolve into a dark type? Doesn't matter. That's I think it, no, Greninja's a dark type, obviously. Is it though? That's a thing, right? Delphox being psychic. Is Chestnut a fighting type then? I don't know. I don't really care. Let's keep Alines at the back of the party for the time being. You're also actually going to be decent for the upcoming gym fight. And hopefully we'll just not lose any more Pokemon, because we've had some bad luck with that last episode. Only one death, as far as I remember, and that's Route 10. So let's actually check how many Pokeballs we have before we go in here. 6 Pokeballs, 1 Premier Ball. Let's go get some more Pokeballs, because we're going to encounter at least 2 new Pokemon today. Potentially 3 before the next gym, that is. I don't know how far we're going to make it today. Actually, we're probably going to at least 3, probably 4. I don't know if we can actually catch a Pokemon to the right of the next city before defeating the gym, but we should be able to get... Oh, and we obviously get to Lucario as well. Is the notification thing working? First and foremost, thanks for the super chat. Here's to being monetized stream came at me at a good time with loads of work to do, so playing in the background will keep me sane. Always very glad to help in that way. You almost made me forget to buy Pokeballs. Yeah, it does come through. I don't think text-to-speech is enabled. That I will look into in a moment or between streams. But thank you very much. That is greatly appreciated. That is pounds, right? I'm pretty sure that's pounds. The one thing that I understand why YouTube doesn't do it, right? But I would very much like an option to do it, even though it's probably hellishly complicated, is most currencies, like most often used currencies, I'll recognize, right? I'll recognize... Actually, now that I think about it, I was going to say I'll recognize dollars, but how does it deal with Canadian and Australian dollars? Because does it... It's the same sign, isn't it? For all those 3. Oh, that's a Houndour. I like that. I like that. Okay, let's focus on the Houndour for a moment. I don't know how this is going to interact with... Okay, Icy Wind is going to be super effective. Takedown also becomes an Ice type. I should keep that in mind. How... Okay, so that is also super effective because it's a poison type move against... That's the perfect amount of damage. The literal perfect amount of damage for me to catch this thing with the Great Ball I just got. So Houndour, I think I might want Houndour on the team. Because of the dark typing for the upcoming gym, the fire typing for just... Well, we lost our fire type last stream, so that'll be good. Oh, come on, you... It's only 1 Pokeball. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Next Great Ball, admittedly, Great Ball. Next Great Ball will be you'll just stay. There's 1, that's 2, there's 3, and you'll stay. Told you so. Houndour. Okay, good thing that I didn't even know you could run into Wild Houndour in this grass. I don't know much about Kalos in general, because I've only played this, I've said this before, but I've only played this when it initially was released, and then like once for a Wonderlock, but I died very early on in that one. And then for the randomizer nuzlocke, but I died halfway through. And then this is, I think, my 4th or 5th time ever playing this region. So I don't know the encounters that well. And when I do, actually this goes for most regions. I don't know the encounters that well for any region mostly, because I play a lot of randomizers. So let's call you Rude. Rude no. Kind of sounds like Rudolph in a way. He does have a black nose rather than a red one, but maybe the shiny one has a red nose? I don't even... probably not. What does shiny Houndour look like? Let's Google this while we go change our team up. Another good thing is that this time, when I'm streaming, I don't have to look away at my phone every 5 seconds, because that was an issue last time. I'm still very, very sorry about that. Who are we going to kick out of the party, though? I'm gonna get rid of Eeldu for the time being, I think. Though flying type isn't that useful in a reverse lock, I wanna say either. I don't know. It does have Twister, which actually, never mind, it's not that useful because all the type effectivenesses, that's a tricky word to say, have been switched. So Twister is a dragon type move, right? So it's literally super effective against nothing now? Because is dragon super effective against anything? Does anything resist dragons? What I should be asking. See, I still don't understand how this whole reverse lock thing works half the time. Team Flare, I do understand though. Let's look up shiny Houndour. I'll do it on my phone, so I can't put it up on screen. Shiny Houndour. It's yeah, okay, it's kind of ugly. The black parts just become kind of dark blue. It's okay. It's kind of like they put Houndour into Photoshop and then just upped the gamma a little bit, if that makes any sense. That's what shiny Houndour is like. Hey, talking about Houndours, there we go. We have another one. The tip ticker is not actually working. That sucks real bad. That sucks real bad. I installed a thing that should scroll all the super chats down, but it apparently doesn't work with super chats, only with direct donations. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's kind of annoying. See, this is the thing with having monetization and new features enabled. I don't really know if all my overlay stuff works. Golbat. Ooh, Aroma is actually very low on health. Golbat is a poison flying type, meaning that something... Ground. Ground. I need ground. Do you have a ground type of you? Probably do. You've got Sand Tomb. It's not great. Also, you're a little bit of a low level, so let's not do that. Oh! Grass! Obviously, grass. Grass is going to be super effective here. And it's actually going to be quad effective because it's also poison type. I'm a genius. I've cracked the code. Just watch me die in Pokemon through the years. Just watch me die. Because I cracked the code here. That being said, I've actually not been doing too badly in Pokemon through the years lately. I don't think. I don't know what the latest episode that went live was. I think... isn't that the episode where I make my way to Pastoria City? I think so. In recording like a week or so I had, not that much. And with the potential membership perks coming through next week at some point, I can't actually make my backlog that much longer than a week. I'll discuss that more when I can't, I don't know. Oh, healing items, that's why. So yeah, I'm confused. I'm not even talking about Chester, I am confused. Okay, so at least wing attack is resisted. Let's think about this. You also outspeed me, which makes sense because you're a Golbat. Snap out of confusion, Vine Whip, shoot one shot, it one shots. It feels so wrong on so many levels. Just on a deep primal level, it doesn't feel right to use a Vine Whip against a Golbat, but it will have to do. It'll have to do. Orphalun's Bite. That actually might not be a bad idea, because I don't think Baby Doll Eyes are really going to do much for us. The user stares at the target with its Baby Doll Eyes, kind of figured, which lowers the attack stat. This move always goes first. I think that's better than Sand Attack. It might not be. It's more consistent than Sand Attack. I don't know. Probably gonna get rid of Sand Attack. Yeah, probably gonna get rid of Sand Attack. That's a tough one though. Both of those could be useful. Sand Attack would have been better because this only works on physical attackers, not special attackers. The moment I chose, I already regretted my decision. Would that have happened the other way around as well, had I chosen Baby Doll Eyes as the move to give up? Probably. Just being real frank with you, probably would have. It's not going to matter either way. I don't think I'd really use either move. Especially now that I don't need to. For the first gym, I was really scared. I don't think it's that relevant anymore. Let me please go through without... Okay, there's another Team Flare fight. Halusha. Halusha wouldn't have been a bad capture either. Though I think... Honestly? Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Fuck. Okay, that's a Romadad. Let's go into Chester. Oh, Chester will be useful because the next gym leader will have a Halusha as well, I think. So, just for that reason, Chester is a good thing to keep on the team. Also, just because raw power. Raw power is always good. I already lost a Pokemon. We're not even 15 minutes into the stream and I already lost a Pokemon. It's quite stupid indeed. I was thinking, should I use a Super Potion on Aroma, but I felt like, nah, I don't need to. And then I saw the Team Flare guy, I was like, okay, I'm going to use it. But then I ran into a Lucia, which killed me. I tried to run away. but it wouldn't let me. Hello, Super. Just in time to see me lose a Pokemon and be sad about my life. But yeah, I did get a super chat. The first super chat ever. And I'm very happy to wipe out. Don't wipe me out, please. I mean, I'm facing an Electrike with a Pidgeotto. I want to say Pidgeot, but it's a Pidgeotto. So I'll be fine, in theory. It feels really weird. I know I keep saying it, but it feels really, really weird. You shouldn't do this, like, ever. Staying in, but also just using Gust. Against an Electrike, I wanted to say, but just using Gust in general is a bad move. Krogunk. We don't want to stay in for that one, do we? Let's go into Chester. I am slowly but surely getting the hang of this, right? The Aroma died because I couldn't run away. And not because I made a type-based mistake. As a matter of fact, I was aware of the fact that it was going to be super effective against me, so I wanted to run away. Playing the game that shall not be played. What are you playing? Pokemon Sword and Shield? Or are you talking about me? I am confused. Arrogance before the fall. I'm not saying that I'm undefeatable. I'm just saying that I'm getting the hang of this. 2 gyms in. I better be getting the hang of this after 2 entire gyms. All I'm saying is that before I needed your help. Now I would only be very thankful if you could still help me deciding what I need to do. Is Alusha really that fast? I didn't think Alusha's speed stat was this stupidly high. Shall not tell it. But I'm curious. Now you gotta tell. Ah, fuck. Now you gotta tell me. Also, I didn't ask. But you said you're doing... No, you, Seppa. You can go fuck off. You said you were doing work. What are you doing? Alusha's pretty fast. Electric seed is broken on it. Oh, that makes a lot of sense now. That also did a lot of damage. I was talking about him against me. Obviously, quick attack against a ghost type would do a lot of damage. I mean, that's just basic knowledge of Pokemon, right? If you reverse everything, it Hippopotas. That is a very bad matchup for me. With like my entire team. So I guess we go into All-Throw? Because normal types are really good. Suddenly. Just because their interaction with everything except like ghost and fighting does not change. Which means that I still... Okay, that being said, I do have Bite. Which makes things a little bit more complicated. I guess I'm just going to go for a Headbutt because Bite would be neutral anyway. And I doubt myself so much that I think Bite should be neutral, but Headbutt will be neutral, which is a very subtle but very important difference. Also, I think Headbutt will, with the same type attack bonus, just literally be stronger. I guess we're just wasting a turn. Wait, you're recording something and watching this stream at the same time? How? Doesn't that like put the stream audio in your recording? Or does that... Or do you like record that through an Elgato or something? What the hell is Needle Arm? It's a better version of Vine Whip, that's what it is. Doing some accountants work, my firm thought it would be a good idea to forgo 80% of outstaff. So I've been asked to work weekends, lucky me. That sounds rough. That sounds really rough. I do sympathize with having to work on weekends. I've worked a lot of weekends over the past 2 months and I'm kind of fucking done with it, honestly. I say while having to do some work tomorrow, but it's not more than like 2 or so hours. And it's for me at least, it's a quick little video edit, which will be a nice change of pace between like recording some other videos. So like record something, go edit that thing for my client, then record some more, and then go edit my own shit, then probably like just hang out for the rest of Sunday. Because sometimes it's nice to just do nothing as well. It's called watching a stream on the phone. I forget that that is a possibility, you know that? I never watch anything like streams or something on my phone. I don't watch a lot of live streams as it is anyway. I usually watch the VODs, mostly because most people I follow don't stream during hours that I'm awake. But I do watch YouTube on the phone a lot. I suppose I'm streaming to YouTube, so... Mudslab is 20, that is horrible. I guess it's better than nothing. Finally beat Satsurius. You're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Wait, you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? Is there a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX video game? Oh, no. Oh, I can feel myself slipping down the Yu-Gi-Oh! Rabbit hole. That being said, after the stream I'm going to continue watching Duel Monsters. I'm at the duel where Yugi is going to win Slifer now. So that is... you are dead. So that's exciting. That's probably one of my favorite duels. It's bullshit, but that's pretty much every duel in at least the original anime is some amount of bullshit. So who are we gonna bring next? Legacy of the Duelist. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's just luck. That duel is just literally just luck. Maybe Q-Disp back on the team wouldn't be a bad idea either. I don't know. I guess Madatite wouldn't be a bad idea either. Other than the fact that I can't pronounce his name. Fake out shenanigans. You are absolutely right. I just used the touchscreen for this. We can use fake out shenanigans. Let's do this. It's way too low a level to actually use. And maybe we'll catch something in the upcoming routes or Reflection Cave that'll be useful as well. Right, so... And obviously, very soon we're going to get that Mega Lucario, which pretty much means that probably Kangaskhan is just going to be yeeted off the team anyway. To be made into a... well, not made into, but be replaced by a Mega Pokemon. Do you have some TMs? Hardly, I think. But I can check. They're infinite in this generation, which I should remember, because I've been playing Gen 4 a lot, obviously. I've got Infestation, Return. I don't think anybody's really happy with me at the moment. Protect. Not really going to help me, I don't think. Strength, which is an HM, which I don't need yet. And a Rock Tomb. Which actually might not be a bad idea to teach to Sandile here. I mean, Aladness. Aladness, of course. Doesn't get stabbed, but still, it's better than a freaking Mud Slap. Strength and Kangaskhan might not be a bad idea. Might actually not be a bad idea. Strength is like, what, 60 base power? Or is it 90? It's 80. Honestly, that's good enough. With stab, that becomes like 120. And it's a normal type move, which is very, very good. In my situation here. And we don't need Leer anyway. Yeah, that is a brilliant move. Thanks for pointing that out to me. Of course, Return eventually would be stronger, but by the time it would be stronger, my Pokemon would all be dead anyway. Because there's anything I know about myself is that I murder anything that I... What am I forgetting here? Who do I need to talk to? I need to talk to somebody. Oh, that's what I need to do. I like how the camera zooms out there a little bit to give you a view of the houses, but also shows you the Team flag run. It's a nice little detail. Yeah, exactly. By the time Return is stronger, the Pokemon's either dead or has been yeeted anyway. They probably got yeeted because they're dead. Because most of the Pokemon on my team right now, at least a fair few of them, aren't going anywhere. I fully expect Chester to be with us for like the entirety of this run. Okay, so let's focus now for a moment here. What did I do today? Not stay in with this. Actually, Quick Attack will be super effective. I recorded a Kingdom Hearts video today. The video, the second visit for the Pirates World and the Colosseum World, I recorded a Super Mario Bros. 2 video because that's going to replace Minecraft very, very soon. I did the scheduling for the social media posts and the end screens and all that kind of stuff for like the next week's worth of videos, which I hadn't done yet because I was lazy and I almost forgot that I actually had to do that. I've just been doing a lot of YouTube related stuff. Mostly because I didn't want to do actual work today. So I planned that in for tomorrow so that I could do fuck all today. I was paying attention to the game, don't worry. I know that Yakdik is still fine. Fine enough for a second Lucario? Potentially not. Potentially not. Let's go into Urthru, which will do a lot more damage anyway, because we've got Headbutt on it, and it won't be a flying type, so it won't be weak to fighting. Then again, neither would Yakdik, because Yakdik is also a normal type. It will be neutral. You will resist it. Also, physical attacks get halved anyway, so this is probably the best course of action anyway. Power Up Punch is laughable. For the time being. It's going to be a problem soon, but by that time your Lucario will be 6 feet under. Yeah, they will be very good against the fighting gym, but so will Meditite. Because Meditite will be neutral. Because fighting is super effective against fighting, right? I think? Maybe? Maybe not. I mean, not very effective, so it becomes super effective in this. But it's also Psychic type. Oh. So, yeah, it's Psychic type, so it resists fighting. Oh, actually, no, Meditite is a horrible idea. No, Meditite is a horrible idea. Let's not do that. Because with my logic, Psychic resisting fighting means it's super effective. If fighting also resists fighting, it's quad effective now. So Meditite is probably the worst thing to bring into the upcoming gym. Yeah, let's not do that. Thank you for not telling me, but making me think about that. Yeah, I dropped Fovro in the box and his trim just like disappeared. Which is a bit of a stupid thing, because why would that be the case? They have sprites for it. Why does it regrow hair when you put it into the box? I don't like... Oh, I didn't even bring Meditite. I brought Kangaskhan. I'm paying so much attention to the actual battles that I'm not paying attention to my party, which I don't think is a very good trade-off. Anyway, new route. Route 11. And there's a TM there, which we might as well try to get. I don't know what it is, but first and foremost, new encounter. Okay. A Nidoran, male or female. If we can get a Moonstone, we can get a Nidoking or Nidoqueen. I'm going to take care of the Nidoran male first, while I think about whether I want a Nidoking or a Nidoqueen. The research for what? Also, you are using Algada. So, interestingly, okay, so that's a lot of damage. Okay, so now I'm interested. You mentioned Elgato. So, were you recording a console, or are you using Elgato to record your PC screen? Because you can do that. I mean, oh, that's what you were doing. Double kick. TMs, items, useful tips, etc. Research. Oh, you're just going to be my info person. I was going to say info bitch, but that seems disrespectful. Record Nintendo Switch. Okay, Nintendo Switch. It's like it's either do this on the Switch, because that's actually a very good platform for it to be on. That would probably, if I had to choose, I have it on Steam. But if I had to choose, I'd probably very much like to have it on the Switch. Because if you're like on the train, which at the moment you probably wouldn't be, but assuming there's no pandemic going on and you're on the train or on a bus or something, right? Just take out that Switch, play a duel, and put your Switch back in. That being said, I understand it does get a little bit stale playing just against AI. And Legacy of the Duelist, I don't think has online matchmaking, does it? And even if it does, probably everybody is on dual links anyway, so you wouldn't get a match. You can play during 3-hour online meetings. That sounds convoluted. Okay, so which are we going to catch? Male or female? Give me a gender. And please give me male or female as a gender. If you're going to give me another gender, we're not going to get into the discussion. There's literally a male and a female neither around here. That's what I'm asking you. I'm not asking you about politics. Which, that shouldn't be politics. Anyway, doesn't matter. More bulk or more offensive? Dude, it's all up to you. It's all up to the people watching. Just give me a male or female. I don't give a female. There we go. We go for female. So we murder the male. You feminist. Okay, I had to make that joke. If I don't catch this, I'm going to be annoyed. I probably will. I don't think Nidoran has a very low catch rate, right? So probably a normal Great Ball will do. Did you know? You probably... Oh, that didn't... That doesn't look very good because I can't really damage you, I don't think. I guess I can fake you out once? Yeah, so did you know Nidoking and Nidoqueen can't breed? Fun trivia, everybody already knows. But Nidoran male and Nidoran female can breed. So they lose the ability to breed as they evolve, which means I think they're the only two Pokemon that have that happen to them. Wait a second, but I think Nidoking can still breed. So it's only Nidoran female, because the whole thing is Nidoking can't breed with a Nidoqueen, but Nidoking can breed with a Nidoran female. Which is disturbing. A little bit. Way more than Skiddy and Wailord. Did you know? Switch to my laptop. Well, that's really good. We got a Nidoran female. You know what we're going to call the Nidoran female? We're going to call it Nidoking. Fair enough, it is the only Pokemon that experiences... how do you even pronounce that? Menopause? I've never actually said that word out loud in the English language. Only Nidoking cannot breed. So, yeah, Nidoran female into Nidorina loses the ability to breed. I think. I think Nidorina can't even breed anymore. First Moonstone is in the next cave. I mean, we could do super training. I did that for my Let's Play. And it's horrible on an emulator. You don't want to do it. Especially since in order to get the stones for from super training, you need to do a lot of it. So we're not going to do that. But yeah. I'll try to remember picking up the... Holoclip. I'll try to remember picking up the Moonstone. Just because if I want to use Nidoking, that's going to be confusing. I'd like to actually have it as a Nidoqueen, not as a Nidorina. I don't think I've cut yet, do I? I probably want to go back and heal. Yeah, let's go back and heal. Okay, so looking at the timing, we're half an hour in. I think we're going to take things slowly because I don't want things to die. But I am fairly certain that we will be able to get the Mega Lucario today and the third gym. Have you guys played any of the Fire Emblem series? I know I should. I know I should. I still haven't. If so, what's your thoughts? I've been playing 3 hours on Switch. It's quite fun, but I'm unsure if the older ones are worth playing. I think Subpar will know more about that than me, because I've literally played none. The closest thing I've come to playing a Fire Emblem game is playing Pokemon Conquest, which is in the same genre. And Final Fantasy Tactics, but I prefer Pokemon Conquest, honestly. So, I'm not your guy for that question, sadly. I don't know if I should be skipping trainers, by the way. I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, Reflection Cave, Encounter. Pay attention. Fuck. It's Mime Jr. I'm gonna catch it. Don't you worry. I'm gonna catch it, but I'm not gonna be happy about it. I mean, I knew Reflection Cave was coming up next, but the thing is I need to actually find a Moonstone in here, and I feel like I might forget. Wait, did one of them use Meditate, and then the rest is all using Copycat? That is a... That is way too advanced of a strategy for AI to come up with. Yeah, you guys are talking about Fire Emblem, I don't understand. I mean, every stream I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! For like 20 minutes. While playing Pokemon. Also, I'm fairly certain that this is the first stream since the Kingdom Hearts 2020 trailer dropped. Let's talk about that. After you guys are done talking about Fire Emblem, I don't want to interrupt your conversation, which is a little bit of a weird position because I'm like the person streaming and you're talking to each other. That's fine. I'm not saying that you should stop it, but it just puts me in a little bit of an awkward position. I just want you to be aware of that. Just want you to feel guilty. I don't want you to stop. I just want you to feel guilty. Anyway, I hope that when Life Simulator, I'm still about Fire Emblem. So yeah, I hope that when Melody of Memory is released, which will be worldwide, which I am very, very happy about, then again, still could be something wrong in the coming months, because it seems like, I know it's a little bit tinfoil, but it seems like whenever like American Square Enix does something slightly wrong, the Japanese people are like, yeah, we're going to delay the worldwide release a little bit, like a week, just to punish you guys, even though they can't always help it when like things get leaked and stuff. There's a little bit what it seems like. I know, bit tinfoil hat, but that's what it seems like to me. So there still is a chance that we get it like a week or 2 weeks later than Japan because of something like that. Assuming it's a worldwide release, that's going to be very fun because everybody's going to experience it at the same time. Awakening is great. At some point I will get into Fire Emblem, okay? At some point I will. Or not. I plan to, but I also plan to do a lot of other things. Have you seen my Steam list? It's stupid how many games I have to play through still. Anyway, so I do plan to do a Melody of Memories Let's Play when that game is released worldwide. The only slight issue to it is it's a game based on music. It's a rhythm game, which means that I'm going to be able to talk a lot less because I need to focus on the sound from the game. Because otherwise I'm going to be absolutely horrible at the rhythm game part of it. And then on top of that, and like going hand in hand with that, that means that there's going to be more of the music coming through, which means that I might get copyright struck into oblivion. Well, could reclaimed, which isn't that much of an issue, but they're probably not going to strike me, so I probably shouldn't worry about it. But it is a new release, and whenever you play a new release, there's a chance of like new people coming in, and it'd be a bit of a shame if ads were disabled for that. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. Let's switch out. Or just heal up, actually. That might not be a bad idea either. Just super potion. That should do it. Fire Emblem Awakening is for which console? Just so that I have an excuse maybe not to play it. Mime Junior resists. Poison Ghost Steel. I was gonna say, does it resist Gust? Have I been using a resisted move all this time? No, I have not. Okay, that's good. Awakening is for a 3DS. Damn it, I own a 3DS. I even have a 3DS capture card. And emulation. So I have no real reason not to play it, do I? Maybe at some point. I do plan on starting Hitman 2 soon. Like on my own time, not on video probably. But I do plan to start that soon. Because Hitman 3 was announced like a week ago. And that was very exciting. And Hitman, modern Hitman I should say, very, very good. It's actually not an easy game unless you play it on like very easy difficulty, at which point it just becomes Assassin's Creed. But if you play it at its intended difficulty and like the way it's designed, it's actually a fairly difficult game. I've played Hitman 1 and 2 on PS4 a little bit. Mr. Mime is not a good Pokemon in Reverse-locke. It's 4 times weak against fighting. Oh yeah, it's also Fairy type, isn't it? I mean, I didn't plan on using Mr. Mime anyway, because... Correct me if I'm wrong, but Mime Junior evolves through friendship, doesn't it? Because if it does, it's not getting a place on the team at all. Am I being a bit of a smartass with the names today? Yeah, I am. But this is Junior Mime now. Immunities are switched, meaning that for electricity and ground, electric will be super effective against ground, and ground will be 0% effective against electric. So for ground, and ground is involved in a lot of immunities, isn't it? Literally 2. So ground and flying. Flying is super effective against... Hello, Wild Hariyama! I didn't even know that was possible! Let's get out of here. It evolves once it knows Mimic. It already knows Copycat, which is pretty much the same as Mimic. I never understood those. It evolves once it learns move X, because it's still just kind of like it evolves at this level, unless you refuse to teach it this specific move. With Mimic, I can actually see that. But with Ancient Power, like with Yanmega, and what's the other one that evolves through Ancient Power? I think Tengrowth? Why would you not give it Ancient Power? Ancient Power is a good move. Especially, like, at the level you learn it at that point in the game, you probably don't have something that's much better than Ancient Power. So, yeah, for Mimic I understand you can accidentally, like, just not pay attention and not teach it to your Pokemon and then it doesn't evolve. But really, I mean, it's a fun little gimmick. It's still just like a level of evolution, though, really. Hariyama is an early evolution. Well, yeah, but I didn't know you could just run into it like that. Let's Gust. Let's see what you have. Electricity's powers is weakened. So those kind of moves, we've talked about this a little bit. Oh, that's a critical hit. That's pathetic. We've talked about it a little bit before, but those kinds of moves where like Mud Sport and Water Sport and I don't know if there's any others actually become useful now. But my Yak deck is not doing very well against this Linoon. It's kind of scary because we're the same level. Okay, so this time... Oh, that's not good. Let's quick attack. Let's see what that does. This time, let's not make the same mistake we did in the randomizer nuzlocke. That being, if you get a critical hit now, I'll be upset. Thank you. You should die. In the randomizer nuzlocke, we didn't fight the noose, which meant that a lot of things actually died. Tangrowth, Yamaga, Ambipom. I don't even know what that next one is. Grapplox? Is that has to be a Gen 8 Pokemon? Sylveon? Licky. Sylveon as well? Huh. Another one that I don't know. Another one that I do not know. I feel like a boomer. Stop making me feel like a boomer. Amama Swine wants to talk to you. Yeah, all those evolution methods are stupid. Sylveon, I'll give a pass because it had a gimmick, which didn't translate into later generations. Feather Dance. You don't really need that. It's a thing. But when the gimmick itself is the move evolution, I don't like it. As a matter of fact, I thought Sylveon actually evolved through just like leveling it up with an item or trading it with it. Well, probably not trading because it's an evolution. But like leveling it up with an item like a pink bow or something. Which doesn't make sense because the pink bow is a normal type boosting item, not a fairy type boosting item. I don't know, it just evolves when you slap a pair of fairy wings onto it. I don't know. So I'm starting to think that Yak deck actually isn't that good of a Pokemon. Sylveon evolves with higher faction plus a fairy. Oh, a fairy move. Look, it being any fairy move makes it a lot better. Of course, I run into a Mr. Mime now. Mr. Mime, you can go fuck right off. I murdered your children. I'm strangely more okay with it being any fairy type move than literally like it needing to know play rough or something like that. For note, magnetic evolution. I thought there was a play on the word magnetic, but the name for a Pokemon like Magnezone. I was a bit confused there. Magnetic evolutions have been changed. Magneton evolves with a Thunderstone. So how does probably Probopass just doesn't exist in Gen 8? Let's switch out into going to Chester. Another note: I prepared a lot of the Catch 'em All Isle of Armor. Got a shiny. I really need to think. I'm not looking forward to doing my Gen. Oh, that's a critical hit. Okay, to my Gen 8. Everything wrong with. I've almost finished writing the Gen 1 video. And that's gonna kill Chester. It did not actually kill Chester, but man, did my move do nothing against Thrall either. I guess fall through. Probopass doesn't yet exist. I wonder how that's going to evolve if it's not in the magnetic evolution anymore. Oh, the Moonstone is there. That's good to know. Is Orpha really going to be my most useful team member? Why is everybody so powerful in here? Probably Orpha Thunderstone, but you see, that doesn't make a lot of sense anymore because for Magnezone, I can see it, but electricity, I guess electricity and magnetism do have a literal direct relation, but within the Pokemon universe, it doesn't feel like I'm... Okay, I know scientifically speaking, it makes sense to have electricity and magnetism like linked that way because like electromagnets are a thing. But in the Pokemon universe, I feel like things are more like thematic than scientific, if that makes any sense. So I feel like they should like just like level it up with a Heartstone or something like that, or a Metal Coat. It becomes Steel type. Just do the Metal Coat thing. I'm not on the level. I'm the same level that my enemies are. Vikavolt changed from Magnetic Fields to a Thunderstone, Sword and Shield to something, right? But Vikavolt still is an electric type Pokemon. That's the thing with Probopass. It's a magnetic evolution that's not an electric type Pokemon, which is where I become very curious, to say the least. So what do we do now? I guess we go into Chester, heal, and use the grass type move I just got, which is like Spike Arm, Spike Needle, something like that. Metal Coat would make more sense. At least it gets used more than only Scizz or Steelix. I'm rooting for the Metal Coat thing, but it's not going to happen. Because it would either have to turn into a trait evolution, or it would have to introduce new functionality to the Metal Coat, that being held item evolutions, which I don't actually think in the main series Pokemon games any Pokemon evolves through holding an item and leveling up, does it? That's a purely randomizer thing. That's just what the Universal Pokemon Randomizer does. Let's wait for Crown Tundra. It will probably get introduced back there. Ruin Focus DLC. Yeah, that seems reasonable that it's introduced there. Are we like sure yet about that DLC introducing the full Dex again? Or is it still going to miss out on some Pokemon? Because there still also is the possibility that they aren't adding in a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon, and that they want to do a Sinnoh remake in the Gen 8 engine. And that's when the last like batch of Pokemon, which are the Sinnoh Pokemon, get back in. Possibility. Still limited. 100 returning Pokemon. So what you're saying is that my theory about Sinnoh could be true. Personally, I'm hoping that they don't do Sinnoh remakes in Gen 8, because the Gen 8 engine doesn't really look all that like impressive to me. So if they could wait with Gen 9 for new hardware and then put those remakes in Gen 9, that would be much, much, much better. Also, this is not a TM. Oh, it's a Moonstone. We're looking for a Moonstone, not a TM. I'm just stupid. Never mind. I'm sorry. So we'll be about a dex of 600 plus legendaries. That is not too bad. Sinnohs are sadly will not be true, as a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon are currently in the dex. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know the dex that well, but I'm not saying that all the Sinnoh Pokemon are going to be added that way. But I'm just saying that things like Probopass, for instance, or like the Sinnoh Legendaries, are a decent example of that as well. The Sinnoh starters, Bidoof, Barrel, I don't know, things like that. There's a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon, and I don't know how many of them are in the game right now, but the fact that some of them are in there doesn't necessarily mean that the bulk of them can't be added in a Gen 4 update. Gen 4 remake update, that I mean. Oh, Harpini and the Overstone. Yeah, that's entirely true. Is this super effective or isn't it? It is not. So, the Overstone with Harpini is the only hold item level up evolution there is? Huh. I really think that should be a more common type of evolution, honestly. Honestly, in my opinion, you're already an electric type. Let's stay in. In my opinion, that should just every trade evolution should just literally be that. Level up while holding this item. We'll check between... There are a lot of item evolutions plus stones. Well, yeah, but not holding the item and leveling up. Honestly, I think that stone evolutions probably also should be, well, should be. I would very much personally like it if they were. Hold the item and level them up. Because that way, it makes a little bit more sense that they like spiritually or like physically bond with the item. I don't know what he's sending out. So let's just go into all through. And I know that probably wouldn't be a popular opinion because that would make stone evolutions more difficult to get. But at the same time, trade evolutions would be getting infinitely easier. Gramble. Okay, that's not that bad to get. Gramble, by the way, should be fighting type, not fairy type. Talking about fairy type, dark typing. How does... Usually dark type is super effective against fairy, so let's not use it right now. Weaver and Gliscor, and some shard stuff in XD doesn't count. XD, no. But yeah, Weevil and Gliscor, that's true. They also have those Razor Fang and Razor Claw, I think. Okay, so there's a couple more. I like it as an idea. Use Bite Dark is good against Fairy. Oh, it's good against Fairy now. Okay. See, I never know my resistances. So usually Fairy resists Dark. That actually makes a lot of sense. It doesn't do that much more damage. Actually, I think it does about double the damage. Never mind. And it can flinch. -3 attack currently, but maybe... Oh, he has been lowering my attack. That I should be paying a bit more attention to the game, shouldn't I? Gramble should be fairy fighting. Look, fairy fighting I'll accept. Normal fighting I'll accept. Normal fairy? No. I will not accept normal fairy. Normal fairy is bullshit. I can't go that way. I don't agree with normal fairy. That would have been a nice thing to have. A Solosis. Which would have been called Syphilis. Which sounds like syphilis, so that's an op. That's not a very good matchup for us. I think you're the lady that heals my Pokemon. You are. You are a hero. An absolute hero. Which means that we're also quite far through the dungeon itself, I think. Wait, I need to go back through there anyway, because this is only for an item. Which is the black belt. I don't have a fighting type yet, but I will soon. But I'll have to hold a Mega Stone, so I can't give it the black belt. Never mind. I don't even want to think about what typing Sableye is weak to in the reverse lock. I just don't. Let's fight this lady. Let's see what she has. You have a Nidorina? Soon, I will too. But then, literally 5 seconds later, I'll have a Nidoqueen. You're level 26, that is scary. What are the levels for the upcoming gym fight? Around level 30, right? I'm going to need my dark types to get a little bit more powerful before that. Both of them probably... I don't know when Houndour evolves into Houndoom. But Sandal will evolve into a... not a Crocodile. What is the second one? Crocorook? Something like that? Before level 30, surely. Assuming we can get to level 30. Or even anywhere close to it. Before the upcoming gym. Which probably we won't. Now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more realistically, because we've got like probably less than 10 trainers between me and the gym leader now. Maybe a little bit more than 10. Mienfoo level 29, Machoke level 28, and Halusha level 32. So Halusha we can take care of with Chester. But Machoke and Mienfoo are the real issue. So we have got Orthro. And the other ones are already level 22 as well. So soon we'll be able to switch train them a little bit more. So level 29 into Krokorok. Level 40 into Crocodile, yeah. So level 40 ain't happening. Level 29, unlikely but possible. Pokesaurus, hello! Thanks for joining us. We're about an hour in, and I have not made a lot of progress. Also, I waved to you, but I don't... And I then hit my feet, which you could hear. You couldn't see me wave, so that's a bit of a useless thing for me to do. Escape rope, honestly, might not be a bad thing for me to have, because I'm probably... Okay, here's a black belt. That's a very good practice for us, right? So let's go into alertness and see what happens. He just shouts battle in my face. That's what happens. Okay. Starting with the Sork. Level 28. That is not good for me. Let's see what an Assurance does. He probably can't one-shot me. I feel like that critical hit didn't even matter. I feel like that critical hit did not even matter. I was also expecting him to use a fighting type move. Which he did not. I guess I just need to get the Toxic TM. If I get the Toxic TM and give it to Orthro, we win. We win the entire game. Because nothing can kill this thing. If I can just stall out everything else in the game, we'll be fine. I just lost Sandile though, which is not great. See how much damage it's even doing against Orthro. No wonder Sandile just got absolutely destroyed. We'll get through this. It'll be a little bit more tricky now, but we'll get through this. We needed a replacement part anyway, right? Because we're going to get that Megalocario in a moment. And when we get to Megalocario, we needed to get something off the team anyway. The choice has been made for us. It's that easy. He only has one Pokemon. Of course. Of course he does. The one time I decided to try out my weaker Pokemon to see if they can stand up for themselves against the typing that they're going to have to be facing in a moment, it's a big mistake. I mean, yeah, we need to keep as much alive as possible. I agree. I'm just trying to... why are we leading with Houndour? That's not great. I guess Orthro? Just trying to not feel stupid. Which is really difficult if you're me. Chamako isn't that powerful, so... And a flinch, which might actually get me the kill now. Please, Min-Max, be in my favor, thank you. Would have been bad if Min-Max wasn't in my favor. Also, there's 5 people watching. Hello, everybody. It's that's probably like a new record. For like the past couple of months, at least. Go ahead. It's a ghost type, so we can headbutt it. It's a really weird sentence, but we definitely can. Feels good. That feels way better than I can explain in words. Yakdex level 29. Okay, so first things first. Houndour. Or Rodna. Rodna. Rodna? Rodna. Rodno. I don't care. Let's not have you in front of the party, because that could be potentially really, really, really bad. Next trainer up. You only have one Pokemon, that scares me. It's a Nidorino. We'll probably be fine. In Sword and Shield, there are 62, including expansion, Sinnoh, 107 Pokemon. Yeah, okay. So the whole Sinnoh theory is just not gonna happen because there's only like 100 and... Fuck! Like 150 or so Sinnoh Pokemon. Each generation introduces between like 100 and 150. So probably no Sinnoh Pokemon are in by now. So that's not going to happen. Which gives me good hope that it's going to be Gen 9 before we get our Sinnoh remake. And I feel like Gen 9 hopefully will be a little bit more polished than Gen 8 was. Oh, the Sinnoh Dex is 107. I misread that. Still, that's over half. So, and legendaries could be added through raids. You're right. Fossils, I don't know if they would. Honestly, do we have anything to heal that poison? I don't think that we do. Is the thing. Not gonna risk it. You guys. I'm gonna ask you to do something for me. Remember, this boy is very dead. We're gonna heal. He's gonna pretend to be alive. He's not. He's dead. D-E-A-A-E. Spelling difficult. And then another D. Well, I'm like kind of 50-50 on the Gen 4 remakes even being on the Switch, is the thing. I'm kind of hoping that they... Oh, Rock'n'Roller would have been nice as well. Though I couldn't evolve it into a Gigalith. I guess I could Pokeaxe it into a Gigalith. I'm kind of hoping that Gen 9 will be one of the early games for the new console. Whenever it releases in like 2022, 2023. And then the Sinnoh remakes will be made in Gen 9. That's my hope. It's a far cry from being realistic probably, because Pokemon Black and White released like around the time the 3DS was released, and they didn't wait for that either. And Black and White were received very well, so it's not like they learned a lesson out of that. So it's probably not going to happen, but there is a non-zero chance that Gen 9 will be Sinnoh remakes, and it'll actually be a lot better as a result of it. I mean, I don't know if they need a new main game is the thing, because they are selling DLC now. So they don't necessarily need a new main game. They're selling a DLC which even introduces new Pokemon. So more or less we're like in Gen 8.5 now. So I disagree on the fact that they need to sell a new main series game. They can just keep adding DLC to Sword and Shield. The DS had Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Hard Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White 2. Though Black and White and Black and White 2, I still argue that they should have probably waited for the 3DS. And then 3DS was X, Y, Auras, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Fair, that's fair, but then again, if you look at it from another direction, not from a console that's trainer battle, I can't run from that. If you look at it from the direction of which generations got remakes, you have 1 and 2 obviously don't have remakes because in them, I mean. Then 3 had a remake, Gen 4 had a remake, Gen 5 didn't have a remake. Gen 6 had a remake. Gen 7 didn't have a remake. There's not... Okay, so there's not really a pattern there. Other than maybe... Yeah, okay, maybe you're right. It's if you base it on which consoles need more main game releases. But I'm still of the opinion that this might be a different situation because they're now selling DLC for Pokemon games. And they've never done that before. And they're selling 2 DLC packs. So if you count that as new releases, which honestly they kind of are, because at the end of the day what they care about is money, and DLC is probably cheaper to produce than a new game. And relatively speaking, I'm guessing it makes more money, like the return on investment on it is probably a lot bigger than a new game. And if they're not withholding Gen 4 Pokemon for the Gen 4 remake release, they're probably just not gonna do a Gen 4 remake in this generation. Good PR would be to do Gen 9 for the Switch. Well, from 2 different directions you can have 2 very different opinions about that, because I don't know if it would necessarily be good PR. Would it be good for the Switch? Probably, but I don't think the Switch at that point, especially like 2-3 years into the future, would need that anymore, because it would be at the end of its life cycle anyway. So I don't think it would need that. And if anything, if they make Gen 9 significantly better on the Switch than Gen 8 was, which is possible with the hardware in the machine, it kind of like defeats the narrative they have built of why they removed that many Pokemon in the first place. That being, it's just too difficult, too much work, too much this, and then it looks shit because it's an open world on the Switch and doesn't make any sense because we also have Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, right? So if they want to like keep that narrative like of excuses they've made in the past up, they probably want to avoid another like battle-looking game on the Switch like the plague. Are they really going to be that invested in keeping up that narrative? Probably not. But it's a thing to keep in mind. Also, Switch did have Let's Go. That's a very good point. I forgot about that. The Switch did have Let's Go, which I still do not count as a main series Pokemon game, but I see why people do. We've got a dead Pokemon in the party. Let's fix that. Let's Go Johto is my expectation. Let's Go Johto makes a lot of sense. I remember a quote in which they said they didn't have any plans for that, but that's been a couple of years by now, so they could have developed plans and then the game since then. So Let's Go Johto makes a lot of sense, especially with like all the Johto plushies in the background of the announcement video and that kind of stuff. People have been very happy to point that out. Let's Go Johto makes sense, especially since Johto is such the beloved game, and Let's Go was such a beloved game as well. I could put my money on that. Gen 9 gimmicks? I have no freaking idea. It sells too well. Let's Go Johto. Yeah, I figured that Let's Go Johto would sell a lot. So I expect that to be a thing probably next year. That's probably going to be next year's big release. $13 million is pretty good. 13 million copies. Though part of that is probably also because they kind of piggybacked off the Pokemon Go branding, which was very popular, especially around the release window of that game. Mainline games sold between 10 and 18 million. They don't like the entirety of Gen 6, like X, Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire together only sell like 15 million copies. Between the 4 games. Something like that. And I know like the original Pokemon Red and Blue together, I think sort of like 30 million or something like that. Ridiculously much more than anything since. I mean, I still kind of count it as a spin-off because the main gameplay is similar but different enough for me to count it as a spin-off game. But it's a close call. I can understand it being a experimental mainline game, but I honestly... And certain things about Let's Go made its way into Sword and Shield, obviously. Like the Pokemon roaming in the overworld and that kind of stuff. So, with the retrospect of Sword and Shield, I'd be more inclined to give it like main series status. I still personally think it's a spin-off game. 31 million for Red, Blue and Yellow. Is that Yellow included? Are you sure? Because I think that might just be Red and Blue. Maybe not. Maybe it was like... I seem to remember like Yellow in and of itself getting like 10 million sales. Almost. A little bit less probably. Which would make sense if they all got about 10 million sales, like 15-15 and then like... Well, not 15-15, like 12-12 and then 6 million. That would make about like... Round it down, obviously, to make 31 million. If it's like... 7.5, 7.5, that's 12.5, 12.5, 6. I don't like doing math live on stream, I always frick it up. Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow and Green together was 46 million. Previous one was only Red, Blue and Green. Okay. Yeah, that is a confusing thing as well, because... And it's not quite fair to the Gen 1 statistics either, because there's a lot more Gen 1 versions of the games than there are for newer generations, right? Because you've got the original Red and Green, then the Japanese Blue, then the American Red and Blue, and then Yellow. Like, that's 6 different games, theoretically speaking. Pokemon Gen 5 was 24 million. That's still quite a lot of copies. Especially for a generation that was hated so much. X and Y 16 million, yeah, that seems to be doing it a little bit closer to home. X and Y wasn't really received that well. And honestly, I can see why. I don't dislike it. I dislike some other generations in games a lot more. But it's definitely not the best Pokemon game ever. Gen 7, 25 million. Yeah, so Gen 6 was just really like a downwards slope, and then Sword and Shield 18 million. That's surprisingly low. That's surprisingly low for Sword and Shield. Maybe they'll get some more sales through like the DLC, because people like, oh, the DLC is out, let me buy the main game as well. Doubt it, but it could be. Could be. Did I put away my dead Pokemon or didn't I? I'm thinking I didn't. It's surprisingly high if you consider the controversy beforehand. But it's surprisingly low compared to the fact that all the other games were on handheld consoles. And I'm assuming... Actually, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more 3DS Assault than Switches. Switch might be an edge case, but like more DS Assault than Wii. The Wii is actually also an edge case because it's sold very, very well. I don't want to say 3DSs than Wii U's, because obviously there's more 3DS Assault than Wii U's. Nobody owns a Wii U. So yeah, that logic just doesn't apply. Never mind. I don't know, let's go into Chester. How many Pokemon does Serena have here actually? Because I remember last time getting absolutely annihilated by Dusknoir when she had 6 Pokemon, but obviously That wasn't a randomized... Okay, only F3. I think I'll be fine. Switch currently has 57 million units sold. That I don't know how many the 3DS has. I'm assuming the 3DS has a fair bit more. PS2 still... yeah, PS2... Nobody will ever overtake the PS2 in units sold. That thing sold so freaking well. It's kind of insane how well that sold. Also because of like 3 versions of it. But that's every PlayStation after the 2. I mean, the PlayStation 2 had the original one, then the slim one. Oh, it only had 2 versions, didn't it? The PlayStation 3 had 3 versions. And then the PlayStation 4 had 3 versions as well, I think. Because you have the original, the slim. The PlayStation 4 also has a slim version, right? And then the Pro. The DS family is 154 million. So that is the normal DS and the DS Lite and the DSi. You're not counting the 3DS in that sales figure too, right? Because the 3DS is a different console from those other 3. Definitely. Do I want to take down? Probably, yeah. 3DS family. Oh yeah, it also has like the 2DS and the 3DS. Yeah, okay. That's an entirely different family. I was thinking it's only the 3DS, but there's also the XL, the 2DS, the 2DS XL, which kind of lost its gimmick of being a 2DS, but hey, what do you know? You're telling me there's twice as many DSs sold as 3DSs. That is stupid. Also, Pokesaurus, what are you happy about? I might have missed something. We're just talking about numbers here. I'm frankly surprised that nobody has left yet. Me just geeking out over numbers. Again, I've said this plenty of times in the past, and I'll probably say it plenty of times in the future. Break shim. I mean, that's not what I said. I'm absolutely a sucker for numbers. Like Clicky Heroes, it's an addicting... It's an actual addiction at this point. I've just just one more upgrade, just one more click, just one more thing. It's literally like what you have with an addiction, just a little bit less crippling. I have that with any kind of numbers. I'm just really sensitive to numbers. I mean, before I decided to go study film, I did consider going to study math. But then I figured, you know what? I don't think that's going to really lead to a job. And then I studied film, and then I graduated, and then I was like, oh, fuck. There's no real jobs in this field, is there? So maybe I should have just chosen math anyway. I find it interesting, the PS4 sold 110 million. I know some games that are interesting on it, but do not know why so many consoles were sold compared to awesome consoles. That's fair. That being said, the PS4 doesn't have, like... I know what I have it, and the reason I have it is to play games I already own. Other than Kingdom Hearts 3. But... I own Spyro, a Reignited trilogy, the Crash and Sane trilogy, both of which I also have on Steam. The Kingdom Hearts HD collections, I also own on PS3, but hey, the 60 FPS was kind of worth it. Kingdom Hearts 3, obviously, that's pretty much it, I think. And then a number of titles I got through PlayStation Plus, but that doesn't really count because I didn't choose to get those. Houndoom, welcome to the party, by the way. But it doesn't really have, like, a lot of killer apps. You're right. Yeah, I know I should play Fire Emblem. it's kind of, I guess it's kind of a numbers type game. Not quite in the same way that I have an affinity for, like, numbers and how numbers make me feel good. it's the reason I like RPGs, is you level up, you see your numbers increase, you see yourself gradually becoming more and more powerful. The number on screen just slowly grows, and that is the thing that's so addicting to it. It's not the actual number crunching, it's more like the seeing of the numbers going up, which really triggers me in all the right ways. Though I guess Fire Emblem might have an element of that as well, because it also still is an RPG. Graduated in data science and tie-up points is analyzing numbers. See, that is something that probably would have been a decent study for me as well, had I chosen it, honestly. Because that's the thing that just like absolutely makes me feel good inside. Some games are also playable on Switch, low resolution, however, portability. Well, but the PS4, at least the default PS4, was released a fair amount of years, like 2 years, I think, before the Switch. So in that time, it probably sold a lot of those 110 million units. And a lot of the games, don't forget, the Switch was a good console from early on, but the Switch wasn't... Wait, what? Do I need to go into the gym? I need to go into the gym before. That sucks. That sucks real bad. Okay. Like the enormous content library and the great amount of like games you can now take portably with you on the Switch didn't start appearing on the Switch until like a year or so after its release. At first the Switch was just like kind of a neat console, but not the absolute humongous powerhouse that it is now. You spammed the Discord. That's the Discord or my Discord? Answer is... That's a lot of pictures. Oh, those! Yeah. Okay, one of those actually is not a Gen 8 Pokemon. But it's a Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon Pokemon, so I'll take that. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna wipe. Maybe I am. Let's fight some trainers. I want to get that Mega Lucario before we end off today. Luckily, these are not randomized, so they're a little bit less bothersome to me. Only one is Gen 8, the rest is from Sun and Moon. Really? Wait, did I really? I don't know Sun and Moon that well either. You're right. You're entirely right. Only the one, like the octopus dude, which actually is a really cool design. I'll give it that. It's a really, really cool design. Is Gen 8. The others are Gen 7. That's sad. Technically speaking, the B thing is Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I don't think it's in the original Sun and Moon. But I get your point. It's Gen 7. Though the concept of Pokemon belonging to a certain generation is starting to fade fast. Really fast. Like Gen 7, starting in Gen 7, that just became a lot more fluid. Melton. Is it Gen 7 or a Gen 8 Pokemon? And now these new Regis, are they Gen 8 Pokemon? Or are they like... They're definitely not Gen 9 Pokemon, but they didn't get introduced until like a year after Gen 8 was started, so it's a little bit of a weird situation. Mythicals are BS. I mean, Zeraora is definitely... Wait, is Zeraora in the Gen 7 decks? I think it is! I think the... Right? It's in Gen 7, but it just never got released in Gen 7. Oh my god, I don't have any potions. Oh, I've got potions, no super potions though. So now what? What do you have? You've got Bite. Actually, what the hell am I doing? I've got Bite as well. The type of octopus. Water fighting? Probably not the case if you ask me, but it should be. The Zero is in the Gen 7 DAX, but not visible without hacking. So it's in the Gen 7 DAX, but it's not in the Gen 7 DAX. It's pure fighting. Should really be water fighting. Especially since water fighting is not a very common type as it is. Do we have any water fighting types? I'm thinking, is water fighting already a type that was taken? Because if it wasn't, that's a real missed opportunity, I'll tell you that much. Do you have a dark type move as well? You do not. But you have high levels, so I'll give you that. Furfur will not die, don't worry. Electric fighting would be more awesome. Bullywrath, Caldeo are water fighting. Caldeo as well? Huh. I didn't actually know that one. Bullywrath is water fighting, you're right. It's one of those types I always forget it gains... It's really weird, right? Because it gains the fighting type after you use a water stone on it. It was already water type, you use a water stone on it, and it then becomes water fighting. Rather than it being a fighting type that gains a water type through a water stone. It's a little weird. Though I guess the Fire Stone evolutions are already fire types evolving into other fire types as well. So maybe my logic just doesn't hold up there. I don't know. What I do know though is that we made it through this battle without anybody kicking the bucket. Which is a really good start if you ask me. Chester is getting ready for Hawlucha coming up. And Nidoking is slowly but surely getting ready to evolve. Oh, there we go. Nidoking is evolving. Yeah, I named my female Nidoran Nidoking. Because we're doing everything in reverse. It's funny. So I guess we might as well just immediately evolve it. Let me Google real quickly here. Google Nidorina Learn Set Gen 6. I also got a text. No, I did not. That is Discord. Let's see. What do you get through level up and is it worth it to wait? That's the Gen 6 Learn set. You learn Bite at level 23, which is highly worth it. Fury Swap's level 20, I don't really care. Helping Hand, Toxic Spikes. I mean, Crunch at level 43, but we're not going to be waiting for that. Mostly it's probably going to be TM moves anyway. So let's wait until level 23 for Bite, just because, especially for the upcoming gym, that'll be very useful. And then evolve it into a Nidoqueen. But not before going back to the Pokemon Center, because I'm not taking any risks today. We are beating this gym without another loss. We have lost one Pokemon early on here in the stream, which I already forgot who it was. Oh, it was Aroma. Yeah. That one died. We're not losing another one. I refuse. I don't really have much of a choice in it, because... Oh, we lost two Pokemon. We also lost Sandile to a... I would say to a critical hit, but really, we lost to my stupidity. We can be very honest about that. That was 253% my stupidity. That was not a critical hit. That was me seeing a Sork, which was like 5 levels higher than me, and deciding, you know what? I can stay in against this guy. I can. I'll be fine. Spoiler, I wasn't fine. Okay, you've got two Pokemon. First of which is a Metatites. Meaning, your effectivenesses in a reverse lock are going to be not actually very relevant, because I'm just going to headbutt you and see what happens. You know what? That'll do. Crocodile is my third favorite ground type and second favorite dark type. I am very impressed with how well like listed you have your favorite like Pokemon in every typing, because I certainly do not. If you ask me what my favorite Pokemon, even like my top 10 favorite Pokemon are right now, and ask me again next week, I'll probably give you two very different answers. There will be some Pokemon that appear in both answers, but not even necessarily just the same 10 Pokemon in a different order. There might just be different Pokemon in my top 10 from week to week. I just cannot make up my mind on which Pokemon are my favorites, let alone having such a readily available list. That's really impressive, honestly. That's really impressive to me. I couldn't do that. What I can, however, do is go the fuck back to the Pokemon Center, because I forgot to buy potions, and I really need potions. Don't use your roller skates downstairs, by the way. That's a really bad idea. You shouldn't do that. That's a really good way to break your neck. We could get a Lapras if we wanted to, I guess, today, by the way. Oh, that's fairly expensive, but that's good to remember. Do we need super potions? Maybe a couple wouldn't hurt. Like, let's do 15 super potions and then like 5 hyper potions. Just so that we are sure that we have enough. I'm not going to be spamming them, probably. But I'd rather be able to spam them and choosing not to than the other way around. I want to roller skate down. You don't want to do that. That's a really bad idea. Like, the idea about roller skating is that you're on a somewhat smooth surface, because the whole wheels thing. And the idea about stairs is that it's a very not smooth, it's hardly even a surface at that point. If you want to roll down, you're just going to faceplant and like tumble over, and you're going to break a lot of bones and going to die. Don't skate down your stairs. Don't do it. It's not like I have a lot of viewers to go around, so if you break your neck, that's gonna like impact my numbers. Please don't do that. I do find a way to turn it around to be an asshole, don't I? Did I not heal? Or are you just very powerful? You might just be very powerful. Okay. Pay attention here for a moment. Bog is going to be resisted. That didn't do a lot of damage. This should be super effective now. Maybe? Needle Arm, please be super effective. That looks super effective. That's super effective. Okay, my team starts to look somewhat acceptable again. You turned around into a good joke. That's... Look. I don't pretend to be funny. I am fully aware that if you just talk for hours and hours and hours on end, sometimes something useful will just by accident come out of your mouth. A broken clock is right twice a day. In the same way, sometimes I say something useful just because I talk a lot. It's just kind of what I do. That being said, I don't particularly like talk much more than, at least more than average. I don't want to say I'm a very quiet person in real life. It really depends. It really depends on like the people I'm hanging with. In some situations, I'll be very quiet and I'll just be listening and doing nothing else. And in some situations, I will be closer to what I am like on video and on stream, and like being talkative and energetic and stuff. But generally speaking, And I feel like you hear this a lot from like YouTubers and Twitch streamers. When I'm not on camera, I'm actually like kind of quiet. Which, again, not a hot take at all for YouTubers to say. I feel like a lot of them do. And I feel like the ones that don't, you usually have a little bit of an ego problem. Not starting any drama with anybody, not calling out anybody in specific, but I feel like that there might be like a significant relationship between those two groups. I mean, I kind of figured they were kidding about skating down the stairs. I assume you weren't stupid like that. Because that's just very dangerous. Skating in the shower is the new hot trend. That might actually be less dangerous than down the stairs. Still, don't do that. But it might actually be less dangerous because... Hurry on. I can just stay in with Orthro. Orthro is probably just gonna be the best way to deal with this entire gym. Because I can just bite everything to death. Yeah, bite works wonderfully. And it can also flinch, which helps a lot. It's got a lot of PP. It's super effective. And you have smelling salts. That didn't do a lot. I guess smelling salts wakes up a sleeping Pokemon. It's good for double battles. I don't even feel like I need to go back to the Pokemon Center. I can just throw a potion onto Furfrou, and I think I'll be fine. Oh, Mega Punch! That is something I'll definitely teach to Nakagak. I don't think we'll need Double Hit anymore. Actually, do we need Mega Punch? Because Mega Punch literally is just strength but less accurate. Yeah, no, we don't need Mega Punch, never mind. It sounds so much better than it is, but I've got Strength, which has 80 power and 100% accuracy, and Mega Punch has 80 power and 58% accuracy. I think I'll be fine with the things I have right now. Okay, so let's just throw in a potion and take on the gym leader so that we can go get our Mega Lucario and end of the stream right after that. Actually, we can just use normal potions. There's no reason for us. Those 3 HP probably not going to matter. If they end up mattering, wouldn't that be ironic? Strength is underrated. It really is. Strength is pretty much as good as Surf. It's as good as Waterfall at any rate, but it's normal typing. I feel like normal typing gets underrated as it is anyway. I mean, I am guilty of underrating normal typing. Normal typing just kind of usually feels like, oh, yeah, you couldn't come up with a typing for this, so it's normal typing. I also feel like there's a lot less normal types over the years, so it kind of like shows that that is how they deal with normal typing. But then there's Pokemon that are dual type, one type, like normal type, and one type, another type, like flying normal. A lot of the regional birds are normal flying. And you're like, why aren't you just flying? Why normal? But it does, especially with flying specifically, have a different dynamic with fighting type moves as a result, because it's actually not resistant against flying or fighting type moves anymore. But yeah, definitely, especially in this Reverse-locke, I've learned to appreciate normal type a lot more. Significantly so. Nidoking wants to learn Fury Swipes. I guess it's literally just better Scratch, right? That's 18 times 2 at the very least. Yeah, but we don't really need Tail Whip, do we? So, at the very worst, Fury Swipes, it's 2 power points. Well, not power points, but 2 strength. Less than Scratch. And on average, it's going to be significantly better. But whatever we just got rid of, what was like Leah, Growl, something like that, is always going to be worse. Because we're not going to use it, and as such, it's worse. Okay, so this gym fight is actually not being that difficult, is it? Normal type is underrated because people just look out of that face value. I mean, it isn't super effective against anything, but it also isn't resisted by a lot. And as a result of that, it's pretty reliable. I think having at least a couple of normal type moves on your team, doesn't even have to be stab, but just a couple of normal type moves can get you out of a tough situation sometimes. It's a very reliable kind of thing. It's not very powerful, but it's not very weak either. It's just, it's always there and usually will be able to help you, unless you're facing like a rock, ghost, or steel type. Which, oftentimes, steel types specifically are the typings that end up being a big issue for me. And with that, we, I think, defeated the third gym without much trouble and without any death. So now let's go get our reward Lucario with a Mega Stone. So we, starting next episode, can see the same Mega Evolution animation over and over and over again. Beat Up is actually a pretty decent move, isn't it? The user gets all the party Pokemon to attack the target. The more party Pokemon, the greater the number of attacks. I think that is not a bad move. Definitely better than Howl or Roar. Roar, the thing with Roar is it's decent for getting out of wild Pokemon battles, but it's, I feel like Roar was designed to be given to anti-Raikou Suicune as roaming Pokemon, so that even if you could like lock them in any way, it's probably not the case that it's designed for that, but it's pretty much the only useful thing it does. Even if you locked them in with like Shadow Tag, or like maybe Bind would lock them in as well, they can still roar you away rather than running away. I feel like that's the main like use Roar ever has, and that's about it. Other than that, in a trainer battle, if you're going to roar out a Pokemon, it's going to come out eventually and you're going to have to deal with it anyway. So, it doesn't really like help you at all, other than like scouting out what the opponent has on its team. But that's not that relevant. In most cases anyway. And then against wild Pokemon, you'd have to switch into Houndoom to use Roar to get away. So you could also just switch into a faster Pokemon and run away. And if you're saying, well, I'm under-leveled, so I couldn't run away even with a faster Pokemon, Houndoom's probably going to die in that case when you switch it in anyway, so you can't run away. I don't see a very good use for Roar as a move. There's just a lot of issues with it. Okay. One more battle. Shut up. Yeah, I've been approved. I may pass. Thank you. I just did that entire gym to be approved. And once I beat that, I can finally open the window to my room again, because I don't have it open. This is still not the right... Nope, still not the right one. I don't have it open during the stream because like audio and like noise coming from outside, and I want it to be as high quality as possible, obviously. But it also does mean that the heat from my computer and my body heat and all that kind of stuff, just like it builds up. It's not a gigantic room I'm sitting in, so it does tend to build up, and it gets a little bit hotter in here, especially during like summer months, obviously. So I'm always very happy after a recording session or a stream to be able to open up my window again and just get some fresh air into my room. Okay. Lucario versus Lucario. Just gonna put it out there. If we are to lose this fight, which we shouldn't, but if we are, I don't count this as like a quote-unquote canonical fight in my series. I didn't in the randomizer for fairly good reason, and I'm not going to go do that now. So if Lucario dies or like faints in here, I'm not going to count it, because technically speaking, you don't actually get Lucario on your team until after this battle. At this point, it's still a borrowed Pokemon. Well, my PC doesn't overheat. It's got some other issues which I do need to figure out. I think it's got something to do with my wireless adapter. My PC doesn't overheat, I don't think. But it has some issues, definitely. I guess we go for power up punch just a lot. It's just my PC puts out a lot of heat because obviously there's well, I don't want to say very powerful hardware in there because that's not the case anymore. A couple of years ago when I bought it, it was decently good, but right now it's kind of like a mid-tier PC. I kind of do want to upgrade it, but I don't have any necessity to do so other than like the weird little things it does sometimes. I just shut down. And sometimes like one of the drives acts a little bit strangely. But other than that, I don't really have any necessity to upgrade it. But I would very much like to just get better hardware because it's one of those, again, it's numbers, right? But this time in a slightly different way. Rather than seeing numbers go up, I just really like seeing, well, also benchmark numbers go up, I guess. But I really just enjoy the fact that I know if I just put a new graphics card in there, my render times are going to like decrease by a lot. It's not really that important for productivity, all things considered. But it's very fun. Right now, a 25 or so minute video takes about like 12 to 13 minutes to render. If I were to upgrade my GPU, and if I were to do that, I'd probably also need to upgrade my CPU. Maybe, maybe not, but I probably want to. That probably could go down to like 8 minutes if I put in a RTX 2080. Probably even less with the new upcoming RTX cards. Let's send... I don't know, Yak Deck is not really that useful. Gonna be honest. I'm sorry for hitting the microphone there. But we don't need Kangaskhan and Orthro, so let's get rid of Kangaskhan. And welcome, or let's get rid of the I. Oracle. Whoa! Because it's an Aura Pokemon, it can't really see the future, but Oracle is a really cool name for Lucario. Wow. I didn't realize that Lucario backwards was so close to Oracle. I mean, I needed to remove a letter and then it's only phonetic, so definitely not on purpose that his name spelled backwards is close to Oracle. But it's a nice coincidence. It's a very nice coincidence and it works well for the nickname. So, man, that's been 2 hours. That went by very quickly. There's I think our peak viewers were like 5 and we sustained that for quite a while as well. And there's been like a lot of people just hanging out and talking and chatting. And man, it's been a good stream. I quite enjoyed it. And of course we had the first super chat ever on the channel, which is a thing never to forget. It's gonna be a legendary moment. We will remember for eternity. I'm sounding sarcastic, but I'm not. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just sound sarcastic while I'm being genuine, and it's really annoying. Like, sometimes when I'm like just hanging with friends and I say something, they're like, are you serious about that? And I'm like, no, that was sarcasm, but I'm not always very good at sarcasm. or the other way around, right? Like, that's a joke, right? And I'm like, no, I meant that. It's like, I just always sound sarcastic, and it's actually an issue sometimes. But that being said, I enjoyed this stream quite a lot, actually. Next week we'll be back and we'll be making our way to probably just the next gym, I'm guessing. I don't know how much is between this gym and the next. I think it's a decent amount, but not a huge amount. So maybe we can do a little bit more than just the next gym. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, it is over. It's been about 2 hours. My voice is starting to need some rest as well. I also did like 2.5 hours. No, not 2.5 hours. Between 1.5 and 2 hours of recording earlier today. And I figured let's not record more because my voice is going to need to have at least some amount of health left to it for the stream. We're 2 hours in. It's been a very good stream. My goal for today was getting Lucario. And it's, well, been about 2 hours, which is usually where I cut it off anyway. So we're going to leave it there before I die. Also, I'd very much like to open that window now before I die of heat stroke. Maybe though, because I am a little bit like, I've got a little bit more of a backlog for the recorded videos that go up. Maybe I'll have some time throughout next week, maybe tomorrow even, I don't know, to do another bonus stream for Pokemon. Because we're going through this a little bit slowly. I'd like to throw in more than one stream a week. But at the very least, we'll be back next week, same time, same channel. Different link, obviously, because that's how YouTube streaming works. Can't really do much about that. See you later. Bye-bye.